What's up, y'all? How y'all feel? Greetings, everybody. Welcome on in. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I've been breaking the rules in some kind of sense, but we have to, question what kind of rules are we talking about here? How are rules even made? Who made them? I mean, look. As far as New York City and most major cities where Black people reside, African people primarily, right? And of course, let me just go ahead and be more thorough by saying predominantly African people, meaning the most melanated or more melanated, because everyone have a, not everyone. I believe some human beings have descended so far down that they got no African blood in them due to what's been happening through scientific experiments and mutilation and degradation and many things that we can cluster and associate with just the state of humanity right now. When I say humanity, I'm talking about all those of all ethnic groups. Okay, and let the numbers show. So I'm like, look, man, I know we're always gonna have challenges. I know that there will always be an opposing force due to the laws of duality. I get it. I truly do. However, I just find that there are far too many perversions out here in the world. And what I find to be more paramount than that, I guess, it would have to be the state of predominant African people, the most melanated people. And I believe that is what we have to focus on more than anything else. I need to come up out of this right now. You know what I mean? I gotta get some funds together, go get my hair braided and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Look a little bit more presentable on camera, so therefore it could be, I guess, for some folks, it can be, I guess, a little bit more appealing to them, right? Because we want to see the cute face, we want to see the cuteness. Because I'm ready to get in on some things right now too. Let me just jump, but I'm gonna just go from here to there. This is me freestyling, y'all. Y'all know how I give it up. And while I said that, I advise you to go ahead and share the word. Of course, this may be even being looked at right now through another medium. Okay, I give it the benefit of the doubt, nothing that I conspire about. And I say that because I want you too to also develop this mindset in which I am expressing myself onto you, in which I hope you could comprehend, decode, adhere to, and concede to some things that I even speak on of the past, that of the past, now, and in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because this is mainly for who? You gotta take care of family first, right? Take care of home. And being taken care of home, y'all see what's here? Through my father's bloodline, the paternal bloodline, I gotta take care of that first. And then that of my mother. You understand me? But there's rank and there's order. Anyway, look, going back to this whole state of humanity and whatnot, in the most cities where Black people reside, I could see how we're continuing to be, uh, we're continuing to be ridiculed. We're continuing to be exploited. We are continuing to be depressed, oppressed, and by what? Everything is definitely of the mental, yes, indeed, without doubt. And I guess what comes before that is, of course, the spiritual, right? That's where you get the manifestation because you meditate, which goes through the ethers or within the ethers, which is something of the unseen, another dualistic nature. You have the seen and the unseen, and it's we're making these manifestations out in the world through our actions, what we're building, what you know. So I said, wow, and this is a quote that I've used more than once in the form of a question as to how come the most melanated are continuing to live so degenerated. I advise you to keep things simple. Remove that fear out of your heart, because I want you to know if we have to be living in fear to speak upon things, not in such a subversive way in which we are trying to talk about somebody and just degrade them, or we're trying to ridicule them. You understand? No, that's not it. But that is going to be put into, I guess, depending on the circumstances, going to be, of course, you put it into context and measure its applicability. However, the most melanated continue to live so degenerated. How? When all of humanity came through the loins of the original man. Now, although that's true, we have the story of a ancient scientist by the name of Yakub, who took out the brown germ, and then from that, what you have the island of Patmos, where you had all the mixing going on. Not mixing first, actually, it became a scientific process to make other human beings that's not of the predominant melanin tribe. So I mean, even if that's what it is, right? Because when I listen to that story, it sounds very true. I mean, it's very convincing. It's very persuasive. However, if that's what it is, well, now we start to apply law to the best of our knowledge and order. I said it many times that the predominant African people, those who are the most melanated, have the capacitance, the highest capacitance for all things upon earth, in which they are still nothing new under the sun. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Those are of the chosen. And so when I look at most major cities where we reside, it's like, whoa, listen here, man, it's 2024, brothers and sisters. I am making a video off my phone. If Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey had this technology, Frederick Douglass back then, they had to walk miles to get to a library, and Lord knows what they had to go through to get a library card and then receive admission. So we're living in an advanced age where time is continually fleeting. Technological advances, this, that, and the third, but we continue to reap less, especially for all the mixing we've been doing, brothers and sisters, which may have come in most, undoubtedly is how I conceive it to be, is that a lot of these sexual acts was done pervertedly. It was done sinfully. And so now, as I spoke upon certain things in the past where we have been conditioned, and by saying we have been conditioned, so has the environment. Don't we share an inseparable nature? As within, so without, the spiritual and the physical, that's an inseparable nature, two different entities, but we on the third dimensional plane in which things is ordained by the Creator. Do you follow me? I said that we are all products of the environment, trying to become producers of the environment. And by becoming a producer, of course, I would have to say, let's make some associations now with, okay, well, this person, this man or woman would have to be at this age or that age to be qualified, 18, 21, to now become an adult, which now, in becoming an adult, you become a producer of the environment that which you were a product of. Do you follow what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? And so now, being that we got the melanin and the melanin popping and this, that, and third, and all these wonderful fluffy things that we talk about, well, Respectfully so. I have no hate for nobody. I don't deal with hate. I'm just trying to get to the fact of the matter and just trying to help and making some changes. Trying to help you change the way you think and trying to free your mind, which may in some way have you be, I guess, how can I put this? Because as I go through my daily travels and I'm on this journey and I bear witness to the fact that when you start to speak out and you become free, a free mind, that you are blacklisted, you are targeted, you're put on a watch list, this, that, and the third, and you are removed from making particular funds. That basically anything that you want to do, you are removed from, or there is a systematic construct set. Now, some people are going to say, like, what is he talking about? All thanks to Christ. Look, be quiet with that. Because if that's the case, because I'm not going to refute that, but I question things because I'm still on this quest. Well, if that's the truth, how come the most melanated continue to live so degenerated? Listen closely to the words I use. Whether it's words of doubt or dealing with time, like shall, when, if, which are words of doubt, pluralistic words, melanated, representing a pluralistic group. And that's more of a past tense as well. Are y'all listening? Because I keep saying we need to think about a collective in which a lot of us don't even know our tribes. Even if those people that was removed from the west coast of Africa have been exiled out of their land and their mind has been smited by the Creator, that is like, that's been done away from you for what you have done in this land. Get out. Go with those people that you went in onto or made or designed or whatever. Do you follow? With all respect to it. So we got to start looking at some things, man. Now look, I understand we got roadways, we got a decent infrastructure, we got running water, we got, we have these things that are considerably a luxury, undoubtedly. But how was it earned? How was it made? How was it created? Under what rule? Under what law? What circumstances? If we don't look to put those things into perspective, then that means you're living lawless and you don't have no problem with that. But the complexities of this life in which we're looking to do away with a lot of things that is seemingly, not even seemingly, undoubtedly not working for us African people here in America, where the price is too high that we pay just to do the things that we look to do, whether it's music, film, model, whatever. The heavy compromises and taxation upon the spirit and soul and body does not bring back an equitable recompense. Or equitable reciprocity. I mean, the law of correspondence will have us make that plain. In addition, once again, I put it out there again. How is the most melanated continuing to live so degenerated? Are you following me, y'all? So, what do we got? Well, we not fasting enough? What else? Let us get together with our wise elders and teachers And let's do what we got to do, because there's nothing wrong with that. We are all gods. White people, European people, they are gods. They are a degree of gods. I want you, in fact, look up that word God and see what it means and apply it to what you're hearing right here. Now, when I say that, don't think that I'm just with them and I'm a sellout. If you're thinking like that, to hell with you. That's right, to hell with you. But they are gods, man. We are the greater, we ought to be, in which we have it within us dormant to be the greater gods. Why? Because of our capacities, because of our design and what we have. Are you following me? But what continues to hold us or hinder us from reaching these optimizing states? You follow? I think I need to listen to, peace, love, and shout out to the brother, Dr. Malakazi York. Now, normally, when we speak on people like him, and based on what he was indicted for, we always seem to want to relegate them to their indictments or what they've done wrong, as if you're forgetting to take a look at the fact that we all have been conditioned. And before you open your mouth about somebody of such prominence with knowledge, do you know what it takes to sit down and read and to collect that knowledge and then apply it to try to change the minds of your people who has been put under a spell? That's not just a word we should be playing with. That's serious. There's been times where I spoke out against Jewish people, like in their face, and something like miraculously kind of dazzled me. It's like something kind of made me dizzy, but I stood strong, and that shit didn't scare me, it didn't spook me. I'm not here to entertain you with no fluffy stories and spooky stories and trying to do this for clout. This is real talk, man. I suggest you put some things to the test your goddamn self, and then you would see. On more than one account where I've done it, and it's like in their presence, and they was in their garb, they was in their garments, man. Hats and everything, man. There's some brothers who know what I'm talking about and can vouch for me, because there was one time I was on a air train, and I started cursing out, and they was right there. Now, due to the complexities of this life, they could have took it away however they wanted to. But this is also mainly this is about spiritual warfare. This is more spiritual than physical. To where some people are being invoked to do some things out here. But then when it happens, who do we blame? Do we blame you or do we blame the spirit? Well, being that the spirit is within you or whatever have moved you to do what you do, there's a bond there. So just like the inseparable nature of spirit and physical, you're going to be held responsible. But that's why mercy and forgiveness and grace is spoken of in these doctrinated books. Do you follow? Don't forget what I just mentioned earlier about a dualistic nature. So we're trying to find some kind of balance here. But evidently, African people, I don't say this so you can try to give reasons, or you can try to rather give excuses to the continual indulgences for your bullshit, which has us looking very apathetic, pathetic, tired, and weak. Yo, and I know I can share this with a lot of people, sisters and all. But you know what? They're gonna hear it. Oh, it sounds good, but they're gonna get back to their modeling, to their this and their that. Why? Because as I just said, the conditioning of this world, with so many things are so prevalent, is imposing that it's like, yo, to hell with all of that. I gotta shake my ass. I'm gonna go back to, yo, I gotta do this and do that and blah blah blah. Everything is cosa nostra, right, Italians? It is what it is, right? And so I say this. As I was saying, how do we continue to reap? Well, how come the most melanated are continuing to live so degenerated, in which we are reaping less? No proper recompense or reciprocity, I would have to say. I don't care what nobody got to tell me. Yet I am very open-minded. I have an open heart. Okay? Because as I just shared with some brothers, two young brothers, I gave them a good word, and I was like, yo, listen. I said, you ever looked at a needle, which is also known as a vial, that injects into the human body? Well, consider the man's penis to be a vial as well, a needle. And what are we injecting onto our woman? What are we injecting into our woman? Matter of fact, how can we determine what's being injected into the woman through our needle? The state of the man, the health state. Sick man, sick sperm. Crazy man, crazy sperm. Which now we could be more, let's expound on that a little more. The actual time of conception and what led to it. What led up to that sexual encounter? Not only encounter, but intercourse, entering of the course, which is a great, great concept that the wonderful brother Dr. Laila Africa spoke about in one of his videos. If y'all know who Dr. Laila Africa is, if you don't know, I suggest you look him up. Sirius Media on YouTube, big shout outs to y'all. TAP, Transatlantic Productions, big shout outs to y'all that put all that wonderful content out there. So what led up to that sexual intercourse? What led up to that sexual intercourse? And then what actually happens through that ejaculation? Not just ejaculation, but injection. What takes place within that mind, body, and soul of that man? In which most cases, a lot of us are lustful, and we just want that pleasure. I come from that, but that's no longer me. Now I may get infatuated with some things I see out here because, of course, to me it's quite natural. But that don't make me get dazed out and stupefied or whatever. But a woman's voluptuousness and nice curves and accentuation of all her assets, especially how they got it going on out here. Even if you look on Instagram, I guarantee you, they got the creases up their ass with their gym clothes. I mean, it's getting too wild out here. Then they want to talk about, oh, you got to have self-control. I want to talk about self-control, and don't put that shit on, girl. Be more conservative. What are you saying? I tell you, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. So what are we injecting, fella? What's in that vial, huh? I find that word to be very applicable in that sense because it starts with the letter V. Hint, hint, right? A lot of people know what the V is associated with. That's the whole thing. We done got so caught up in these things, in these games, and it's like, yeah, I'm with it, yo. Yeah, I know what that means. You know what I'm saying? This, that. And it's like, I mean, I get it, y'all. Because we just didn't know better. We were being played, we were being used, but this is something new coming here. Considerably new. In which I'm sharing power with you, because Knowledge is power. As received, so shall you give, right? I'm listening to Mr. Farrakhan. I'm listening to Yosef Ben Yakinen, rest his soul, Ashraf Quays. I could go up and down the list. And the things that I learned from them, I share in measure. And the reason why I share in measure, because I still give things time to manifest. I'm looking to be patient as much as I am being prudent. But, hey, listen, I ain't looking for no validation from nobody out there. I'm out here to give what I can give and try to make some changes. However, I feel that I still continue to lack cooperation. Excuse me. That's another thing too. I be hearing a lot of that out there. That's how I know they got these eyes out here that watch. I'm really hip on that, y'all. You know, the eye. You know what I mean? And you know, Europeans found their way to. They tapped into it because they have access to spirituality as well. Trust me. In addition, that's why I said they are gods too, because they took time to sacrifice time to learn about who we were. And they studied our teachings and then made their own rendition of it. I guess I would have to say. Which you have trigonometry, this, that, and the third, and they have their founding fathers that made their discoveries. Yes, they have, according to where they come from and who we are, which is representative of who we are. Do you follow? And that's why I question what all this. We're all one big inheritable family. So where do all this come from? Where the African people were blessed? How is that so in such an advanced age, technological age, this, that, and the third? I don't. And I get no answers. I get no answers from nobody. I wanna know. I wanna know what. Nah, but on the real, man. Real talk. Serious, man. So we need to start questioning a lot of things and really, you know, a lot of people talk about balance and all this. Look, man, I'm here. You got questions, I got answers. I don't got no time for fluff talking, all that. I'll give it to you real. But I find in one way that this system is trying to really wear me down so they can go ahead and say, yeah, we got them. No, your ass don't. No matter how you try to slice this thing. Because look, if anything wicked was to come on to me, because y'all see how I've been giving it up for these past couple years. Now, some of y'all may say, yo, he ain't really thugged out, or he ain't really authentic as he look or purport to be. When you not even really, you tuning into my videos, yes, big shout outs to that. But you ain't hear me on the line. Did you check my records? Let the record reflect, let the record show. Now, you may be looking for what I could produce as far as paper, meaning money, in this sense. Because it seems like, you know what? Since it always comes, like money always comes into the picture. And so I would have to say respectfully, not even respectfully so, as I said before, money is the most powerful tool, the most leveraging tool, to which a lot of people have done some things for it, and then what do we have today? Reciprocity. Where? The recompense, is it equitable? We need to do the math, right? In addition to myself here, I'm not perfect, no. I put this out to not only show myself approved, but to also most definitely help you to gain something new and get some power through right knowledge. and then put it into the works, and then put it into work. But we gotta do this together. See, and this is another reason. I don't care what nobody say, but I have a funny relationship with my European Union. Yes, I do. With my European family, I do, because of a lot of things that has been instilled within me, inculcated within me, in us, black people. That is, we're working hard. I would have to say, hopefully, to do away with it and to bring about righteousness and justice. But this is why I give them their respects, because they don't play when it comes to culture, man. Although they came from us, they made some establishments in which they continue to uphold the integrities thereof up to this day. They have established family order. They have men and women of renown that sacrifice time to learn about the sciences and the mathematics of this world. Do you hear me? Even if you're all resentful of them, without having to look to cause any kind of injurious harm. Wordplay, we got to be careful with that. People think that's a joke too. I gave it up on the video where I said, since we like to talk about, you got to plant seeds. And how do we plant seeds? By the word that we share on the people, plant seeds in their mind. So that means we need to be careful of the words we speak about people, to people, out in public. Just, you follow. But they put their time in. They put in that work extensively to where now, and trust me, we are far behind, brothers and sisters. We may have some techniques that we do have now, and we're putting it to use, but we're still behind. We need to amplify this thing, my African family. Trust me what I'm telling you. However, moving forward, they came from us. They learned the stars. But, okay, let me go. Let me continue on. And they became masters of their fields. A lot of us may talk about white people, then we're going to end up in the hospital under their care. You follow? Inheritably so. Here in the USA, how do you think this came about to be known as the USA, huh? Now, without those that don't want to do the work for truth, justice, and righteousness, then we're going to continue to be living in this right here. And that's exactly why I say, as I said out in public, and I said out in a recent video, that if we don't want to stand in truth, live in truth, as much as we can to really bring about a change, then those people, anybody who didn't do that, should not be able to enjoy the fruits thereof of when it comes about through the Heavenly Father and Mother. You shouldn't, because you ain't put that work in. You didn't do it. And that's reality. That's real talk right there. Now, it's going to take more than just talking it. But talking is that right there is needed. We converse with one another. We have peer reviews within our circles or of our circles, which takes me back now to what I was saying on the topic of our European family. They got those establishments, man. I bear witness to it already, and they keep it tight. Yo, I'm serious, man. I ain't gonna be dropping names or whatever, because that's not needed. To me, if you got open eyes and you have knowledge, you will see that it's self-evident. Now, more so, they got them out there. They got some serious communities of opulence. They daughters married to onto their neighbor's sons or whatever. They working on it, y'all. Yo. put it like this. Some people want to put me to the, or I mean, I'm being put to the test no matter what. But I see how tricky the devil is. Trust me when I tell you. I asked to be put out there on debate with LGBT members or whatever. I ain't get called out yet. We don't even got to put it all out in the public's face. But inevitably, of course, when you're speaking on such things, it needs to be put out for edification purpose, not clout. Because we got a lot of ill shit taking place right now that we shouldn't be worried about no goddamn clout. You hear me? Hollywood members, Hollywood stars. Get with me. And when I say get with me, I ain't talking about on some move me in or let's hang out for the rest of our life. Touch base. I'll give it to you a buck. Because as much as I give my respect onto all men, I know that there's a lot of things that has been done by our inheritable European families. And whoever else is included once we lay claim to it by being factual and thorough. Especially when we look into, when it comes to judgment, execution, persecution, being thorough, diligent, and factual, goes without saying. Trust me. A lot of things got to be done away with, all that homosexuality bullshit. If so-called sexual rituals happen to you, this, that, and the third, and you're still living, you got mercy. You have grace. Some people may be thinking, and that's why they feel like, oh, Allah ain't real, God ain't real, then how come all these things continue to happen? How come? We got work to do. I take you right back to my quote. How come the most melanated are continuing to live so degenerated? Indians are very melanated too. They're not excluded from this picture. So what's up? There's only so much I could do by myself as to I see how the spirits move upon people and how things is already hit, which is why I'm here making another motherfucking video. Who got that? Man, look, yo. Yeah, I think I'm not scared of that shit. I just get irritated, especially with my European members who know what's going on too, and they know that I know, and they mad at me too. Because they want me to assimilate, they want me to get with them, acclimate to what they got going on because they reached the level of mastery in God, energy. Yes, they have. But I'm stepping out on faith already by doing what I do in measure and saying what I say in measure. Where I inevitably look to get with my family that makes me who I am primarily, predominantly. Do you follow? But as I said, money is a very powerful and leveraging tool in which many people have done many things for it, where it's like ain't no breaking away from that now. That's how you feel. And I done said where money come from. Money come from the earth, just like this goddamn sweater I'm wearing. Cotton, trees, where it come from? That makes the dollar bills. The coins on the periodic table, brass, copper, nickel, platinum, iridium, where that comes from? Ain't that minerals from the earth, which we could associate with the earth science? Igneous rocks. Igneous is not too far from indigenous. Hey, yo, man. I could feel in some way where I'm trying to be pushed to, you know, yo. The Bible has some truth in it, so does the Quran. We just There are people who know how to read it and truly decode it, and they have their circles. This is why, as much as mercy and forgiveness is, you know, put out there, prayers are also being put forth for those to wake up. Even myself, I'm sure I have not. I know I've reached a different level than, you know, than the guy that I was. Excuse me, years ago, and not just in the form of physicality. Okay, uh, big chest, arms, this, that. No, no, it's there's still more work for me to do to be very become prominent and revering, which comes with a responsibility to give service onto people, not to be all commanding and tyrannical. No, the better I become as a human being, I look to put forth service, to be of service. But I continue to be frustrated and upset because I lack cooperation. I don't, to be honest, I don't even feel like I'm not with my tribal family. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was the case, I would have somebody by my side and another fellow man, tribal man, to get more work done and to develop a congregation. So, you know, I've done some poetry in the past in which I took the time to write out, and I did it with the intent of not just trying to sound intelligent, but in addition to everyone always wanting to show themselves approved, rightfully so, and showing their degree of knowledge. It comes from a place of I guess for me, I would have to say, I speak for, comes from a place of originality, me being genuine, and just articulating myself through my wordplay, and which also goes to show what is it that I'm looking for to be, what I'm looking to have established or would like to see within the future generations, and also that within my own life. Things will not be easily attained, understood, especially when you're by yourself. As much as I could be an independent being, and you could be an independent being, can't nothing much get done when you're by yourself. You understand? But I feel like a lot of things has been inverted here on this world, on this planet, here on Earth. Let the numbers don't lie. Start When we start to look at what's important for human life, and from human life, you now start to look at societies, communities, neighborhoods, states, countries, which is housing ethnic groups, right? Groups of people, and now you begin to cluster from that, right? From that human beings, then you start to look at the communities and neighbors and neighborhoods that of the sort societies. Then you look at, okay, what do we have in the infrastructure? What do we have, man? What kind of institutions? What kind of houses do we have in regards of, that of a church body, which is the backbone of every community and neighborhood, stronghold. And so now you look at the agriculture, agronomy. All right, well, what kind of fruits do we have then that we're putting out to the market that we could also send into our school to feed the kids? And you start to look at other things. Well, do we have laundromats? Do we have hardware stores? And you start to do the numbers. And who's working? Who's employed? Who's reaping from these businesses? Start to look at those numbers, and then you will see it's self-evident that the predominantly African man and woman continue to be blessed. Take a look at global GDP numbers. Man, look, man, yo, I feel like there's a lack of faith because there's a system that's here and it's so impeding because the way that it has been created, I mean, it is a hell of a cookie. But consider that we had a lot of men and women, in addition to our own biological parents, grandparents that passed away, that put forth something to try to make a change by even giving me and you something to work with. Never lose sight of that. And by being prudent, what can we possibly see for the future if we continue to indulge in such a system, in such a way? You follow. I tell you, European people, they found a way, and so have my Asian family too. You know, and this deals with the complexities of this life too, because they have their circles, the Europeans and the Asians, but so does the Africans and the Asians. Listen, to which all things have come from, came from, shall return onto. If you've been following me, as I say in public, humility, humbleness will get us very far. I don't boast on what I know, I don't brag, but due to the lack thereof of the betterment for who we are, predominant African, the African Diasporic Family, and what we continue to face out here, because of course in life we're gonna have some challenges. But yo, I'm sorry. We be blessed, fellas. So for all y'all that got those mixed relationships out there, you got what you got, no doubt. And I truly wish you all the best. But what I find, according to law, according to the paternal line, to whom we are, everyone walking out here are the seeds of their father, predominantly so. With all respect due, regardless of the chromosome numbers that's shared between both X and Y. What are we talking about? Ordinance here. You got your mixed relationships, no doubt. Please keep in mind and be in remembrance of, even if you're not the breadwinner. If she's not down to help you and support you to do for your people, we got problems. And we're going to continue to be blessed. Also keep in mind that everyone came through the original man and woman. So when we talk about we making our ancestors proud, you're wrong. You're not doing it by getting a college degree. Oh, it's noted. It's recognized. But we got much more work to do. I'm not trying to, disregard or discount your degrees of knowledge gained, because it took time to read and retain the information and to recall it to get those test scores right. Big shout outs to you. You got your wonderful mixed relationship. Big shout outs to you. But let's take a look at this paternal line. Let's reconnect. Let's look at the numbers and do the numbers and see what we're working with, brothers. As far as the sisters, you're mixing over there. I believe it to be put on the man's shoulder, because man gives order. He establishes order in his family, to which when the Bible talks about I shall give you a helpmeet, you follow, give you a woman that's going to help you meet your goals, in which she's not don't supposed to be even having sex with you until she gets to learn you by you courting her, and then y'all get together and say, hey, now let's plan how we gonna move forward. rather than bring children forth into the world illegitimately. Do you follow? If we're going to continue to be subjected, in which we are living in the laws of the land, well, I would have to say this: be free. But if you find that by being free will interfere with your earnings by whatever means, have an open talk. In which case, I am sure, trust me when I tell you, that we have to, of course, in the mastering of economics to the most of our ability, yes, indeed, is that with telling truth, for most people of predominant African blood here in this country, particularly in that of the UK, and I think, you know what, as my as the Jewish people, or the, Orthodox Jews especially, they know how to do much with little. That's what's up. We should also learn and master that, because I find myself in that kind of way right now, in the way of life, where it's like learn to do much with less. Where I find a lot of my brothers in the hood still like to do, they live above their means. And who's living within their means? Who's living below their means? There's nothing wrong with living below your means. Who are we looking to impress out here, brothers and sisters, when we still got our daughters busting it wide open out there with, I swear to y'all, a lot of y'all grown folks with y'all kids, when I be out here on these buses and trains and whatnot, you won't believe what your child is saying and doing in public. It's easier said than done. I get it. Trust me, I do. It's easier said than done to, to, because what's been here has been here for years. It's like, just like how sometimes with these maladies that we are facing is bringing about chronic conditions. That's what's here. Chronic conditions. If anybody know etymology or know how to break down words and define them, chronic meaning not weed, okay? Chronic as in chronos, that deals with time, heraldry, which is also encapsulated time, encapsulates time, chronic conditions, something that has been lasting for a long time, or something that will have effect for a long time. It's hard to undo. So when we talk about healing, we need it in many facets of our life, livelihoods. Yeah. I guess before I go, as I close here, I'm at 54 minutes. Well, I guess I'm gonna continue to do what I do as I continue to be patient in some regard as to where I see what's waiting for me in the coming time. And of course, undoubtedly, I look forward as I said, me being, a man of prudence, I surely hope for the best. But I can hope all I want. Without cooperation, without a team, without a family in which I have been ostracized from, well then it's kind of hard, rather difficult for me to hold on and stand strong in my faith, where I look at people, even those in my own biological family, the compromises that has been made, and how the Spirit moves people, and what has been happening to some people through science, to wicked people, in which I know about those people who, their eyes get, one eye is bigger than the other, or their eye is lazy than the other, like Charleston White, or and a lot of people that's been affected by got some things out here. I see all of that. I've seen how it even happened to me a few times where something poked me, but nothing was there. And this mainly happened when I was like in my bed chilling, and when I was sleeping. I wake up, nothing there. But that shit didn't spook me. I just like, yo, what is that? Then I would ask God, hey, when the day comes, show me. Or show me, Father. Like, you know what I mean? Trust me. Arms moved, like it just jerked. That could be a nerve. Everything don't have to be so, there's a lot of spookism going on out here. Because if we're going to be, in all reality, we're going to talk about spirituality and this, that, and the third, black people, with this, since we have the capacities for so much, and we all these prayers we've been putting out and screaming Jesus' name, where's the recompense? Where is our prosperity? Where is it? Like, where's the communion? Where's the real love? Why are we still having sisters and brothers that's having their talents and God gifts exploited, still bending over backwards, all kind of funny shit? You follow what I'm saying? Today, still, after we know all these artists who are human beings themselves have been through it, gone through it, some are being indicted now and charged with this, that, and the third now, but it's still happening? You think if God, when God give me kids, that I'm gonna let that be? Is that what you want for your sons, women? So what kind of love we talking about here? What kind of communion, what kind of family we got here? Are you listening? So, as much as I may have a particular disdain for some people of the European Union, at the same time, I gotta give it up to them. Because for them, think about this, with their genetic disposition or whatever the case may be, I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying that with all that they're facing, even if you want to call them a devil and a beast, well then we know what divine judgment does to people, right? They continue to have what they have and exercise it every day, even on to us. So what does that say about them? God damn. Well, woo. You can't beat them, join them, huh? What kind of recompense are we talking? That's the conclusion. Right? What's in that vow, fellas? You know how rich we really are? You know how rich we are, really? So the Jewish people, they made their sacrifices. But yes, like I was saying, and of course, this is a different time of the day. The video got cut off. I thought I was working with some better battery life, even though I was prompted, or rather, I was, given the phone gave off a message saying that it had about 10% battery life. Of course, prior to the phone being cut off, but I thought I was doing pretty well. Like, I'm kind of shocked. Anyway, nevertheless, the sun is on its, the sun is descending, and the some people may try to imply or insinuate, oh, look how it's happening. You see how the universe is speaking? He happened to want to finish the video off after getting a charge, because I had to charge this phone, which charged kind of slow because of the charger setup that I have between the base and the cord. Um, that, oh, look what time he's speaking. Consider that, this, that, and the third. I want y'all to know something. I'm going to get back to where I left off. But everything is of the mind. Yes, we are to accentuate the positive. However, there's still a lot of perversions in the world. So how could we talk about love? How could we talk about building back a nation or this, that, and the third, evolutionary stage to bring about some kind of utopian world and, getting families back in order, this, that, and the third. But here we are all up in the perversions, huh? My hair looking a little different too. Anyway, that's neither here or there as far as, that. But yes, I left off by saying that the Jewish people are made a lot of sacrifices in particular. So have the Germans, and so have the Asians, and everybody that is at a place right now where they have prosperous nations of a genetic recession. You follow? So I remember as a child, I used to say I don't like history. I never liked the subject. As an adult and continuing to mature and reap knowledge, history is very important. However, what we have now is these concepts being played with the minds of people. Oh, you got the algorithm on Facebook, algorithm on the Instagram. Oh, you got the Simpsons being shown here and there that they predicted this, that, and the third. Don't you know that same, what can I call it, software that was used to make that anime can still be used today to craftily work on your ass? Anyway, we need to open up our minds and stop playing. Stand in faith, get real. African people, we got work to do moving forward. So yes, they continue to make their sacrifices for what they have today, but what kind of sacrifices are we making? You see, my thing is, once I know I have my family, once I know we have each other, because I ain't got to worry about nobody stabbing me in the back. For those in my circle, do not get caught up with that Jesus and Judas story all up in the book and whatnot. And with all due respect, we have the power, we have the divinity to change what has been written. Not change as in something bad. If we don't want to use change, we can use the word, we can recreate. We got sanctioned laws. We got this, that, and the third taking place amongst humanity, which is far off from that of the of righteousness and the Ancient of Days, for what has been written on the wall by the great Kemites. However, I want to give people, I have to expound on that too. That, as I asked before, in one of my quotes I put on here on Instagram, not here because this is going to YouTube. I was saying, how can such a people, which I spoke in public too, how can such a people who were so scientifically and mathematically, oh man, renowned. You understand me? I'm talking about that of ancient Kemet, which is known as Egypt today. I'm like, how do they made the great pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, the great pillars, the Pantheon. Well, let me not use that word, because that Pantheon word is more like that, respectfully, that of the Greek. All right. Yeah, like they've done so much. Imhotep. Oh yes. But my question is, As I know that when there's a rising, there must be a falling. Don't be so quick to fall into that space where people say, okay, well, because something fallen, it just had to be because of uh, some kind of, some kind of foul play or whatever, even though it may make some sense. But we need to be, what I'm saying is basically, essentially, is let's be as thorough as we can be. Whatever you may hear from this reputable source or that source over there, you know, take it in without having to feel like we have to regurgitate it to sound smart amongst some people, because there's much work to do with all the great words we can use. And oh, you understand, even that of what I give. Now it's gonna be noted for. It's great to have. But when that due season come, when that time come for due season, what kind of fruit are we bearing during that harvest? You know what I'm saying? What are we harvesting? You follow what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Even that of myself. However, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it in there again, that no one man can do everything by himself. So when you hear people trying to, or you yourself, whatever viewer may say, well, what are you doing in this, that, and the third? Consider the mathematics. I'm not here begging for help. I'm not soliciting. I'm giving my point of view. Go ahead and challenge me. Look it up. But there's a lot of things in y'all that just gonna continue to, you're gonna be like, man, please. Because there's a lot of jealousy out there, enmity, envy, and fear that continue to perpetuate this into the particular reason why African people have not properly and righteously unified, in addition to some other spiritual matters. Yes, indeed. You know what I mean? Because many haven't repented and atoned. So, in closing here, for sure now, you know, consider the words that I say, and if you find it to be an error after applying, some time, it got cut off again. I mean, huh? Well, I'm gonna continue to put this work in. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, with everything that has been said, I truly hope that you go ahead and take some time to consider. And I know the most difficult part of doing so is that, and this is for people of all color, of course, is that we already been conditioned with our, through our religion, or, which is practically a way of life. A lot of people be out there bad talking religion. I don't. Religion helps to give people a way of life. It helps to reform some life. But as I mentioned earlier in this video about, numbers don't lie, let's do the numbers and let that be foretelling. Well, then it is what it is. So I got work to do, surely. And I know as much as I do, shoot, I believe we all do, in all in measure, because we're all trying to do better in ways. You know what I mean? And this is why I don't get so crazy. I'm so glad that I've reached this point. However, it came at a price, because I would have to say that, I man, look, no pain, no gain, right? I just pray that as we all move forward, especially my African people, we apply mathematics and science to all things and look to master that. I said in an older video too that we need to set up our kids to be mathematicians, biologists, chemists, engineers, to become the real movers and shakers, even when it's time to go back home abroad. Because it's like, as much as I talk about going back to Africa and so, well, let's say we go today, tomorrow, what are we going with? What are we bringing to the table? Respectfully, because there's a lot to consider. Number one, being that we are speaking this tongue, which is not ours, that came through colonialism. That's much to consider. Some people may not even understand that. So we going amongst our people and looking to reconnect with our tribal father, which don't even, he may have adapted this tongue or to learn of it, but even in his spirit, he's like, because I've seen a video with this guy. He was in South Africa and he went there talking in a different tongue. Where the people was like, speak. I think it was called GAC, GAC. And they was like, speak GAC. Like it was in caption. You understand? So yes, we got the translations, we got the different languages we can speak, but I think it's a more importance to be speaking that tribal tongue. There's a lot of power behind that. Trust me. So yeah, I'm sure I put a lot in right there, and I'm over an hour once again in another video. I truly appreciate your time, you coming in and you tuning in, even if you had to break it apart. You know what I mean? That's what's up. So as much as you're gonna hold me responsible and keep an eye out on me, I'm gonna do that onto you. And that goes for those that's in this little camera world, you trolls, and all you people that's out there trolling and playing stupid, filthy games, being very annoying. That don't listen. I'm not spooked by nothing. I just get irritated and quite bothered at some things. You know, like it's foolishness. But I guess this is all part of the growth, right? And me, I guess, having to get ready to establish my very own. Yeah. And so, with that being said, everybody, I got love for the world, of course. And stay tuned for the next video. Once again, thank you so much. This is Leo Isaiah Bridges. Peace, love, and light. Ashe. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful night. All right, be safe, y'all. One love.